let's just get started because it's late where Brad is. He's East Coast time. So let's just get going. If you have not heard of Brad Bizjack, you're missing out. Because I think Micah had him speak in like January-ish. And it's more about mindset, and actually it's not like business strategy stuff. I mean, a little bit, but it's more mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, obviously the rest of everything in life, not even just business, but life in general, is hard. So he's going to touch on that. He'll kind of introduce himself, to tell him a little bit about himself. So I'm just going to let you go.
Sweet. Can you guys hear me? Is that coming through? Give me a big thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys so much for the privilege of being here tonight. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak for you guys. And by a show of hands, how many of you guys were on the calls that I did with Micah back in either January or March or whenever it was? I know I did 2 of them. And I see some Appreciation Academy clients in here. What's up, guys? Good to see you in here. But I want you guys to know that over this next 45 minutes, I'm not going to betray your trust. I don't take this opportunity for granted. This time is something you cannot get back. So my goal tonight is to go above and beyond to help you master this thing. So be fully present here. Turn those phones off. Take the picture for Instagram stories now. Post it later. Whatever you got to do. Just be present, and I promise it will be worth your time. For those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Brad Bizjack. I'm a mindset strategist and coach, inspirational speaker, host of the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast, and creator of Appreciation Academy. And I help online business owners silence all of that negative self-talk going on up here so you can finally see the success that you deserve. And that is possible for you. Tonight, I'm going to go through 3 different things. The first thing I'm going to go through is something you might have heard before from me, and it's all about how to rewire the way we think using the skill of asking better questions. The second part is all about crushing fear, which is totally new that I haven't talked about on the calls I did with Micah. And finally, the 5 master skills to crush any part of your life, any part of your business. So those things that you really want to create, that's possible for you to do it. It really is. If you master these things we're going to talk about today, you'll be one of those people walking across stage at Summit. You'll be getting recognized for having an amazing year. You'll be paying off that debt. You'll be able to retire your spouse. You'll be that person that just seems magnetic. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Those people that just seem like they radiate energy and they attract people to them. And you're like, how the hell do they do that? You're going to become one of those people. Like you'll become one of those people that just feels fully alive, and you'll be living that dream of traveling, that almost too good to be true dream. You can do that. But what's even cooler than that is if you master these skills, you're going to be pulled towards creating a business instead of pushing so damn hard and feeling like you're forcing it. How many of you guys feel like you're forcing things in your business and it just feels stressful, like you're forcing yourself to invite, forcing yourself to act, and it just feels frustrating, right? And beyond all that, if you master these things, you're going to feel genuine happiness on the path to your dreams instead of frustration because your business isn't where you want it to be yet. You'll feel progress again, aliveness again. You'll be able to let go of that baggage holding you back. Like, can you imagine that? Imagine a life without negative self-talk overtaking you for a second. What would that do for your life? A life where your goals and dreams don't evade you anymore. This is about equipping you with the mindsets necessary to create a life on your terms. That's what this is about. And if you stick with me in this training, you're going to experience some major breakthroughs. All those dreams that you signed up for your business to create, if you master these skills, you can do it. But right now, I'm willing to bet there's probably some major challenges, right? Somewhere along the way, maybe belief slowed down a little bit. You didn't believe in yourself as much as you used to before. How many of you guys have ever struggled with that? Type yes in the chat box if you have ever struggled with belief. It's almost like if you set a goal, you know, like you're not going to achieve it even before you set it. Like nothing seems to be working, even though your mind is on your business 24/7. It feels like a chore sometimes. Like how many of you guys type yes if you've ever lowered your goals down because you haven't been able to achieve goals in the past? How many of you guys have ever done that? Basically, like the word that really describes it is feeling stuck, right? Like you have the trainings to show you what to do to be successful, but they don't seem to work for you like they do for other people. And you're going, what the hell is going on? And you hear all the cliches like change your thinking, change your life and all this stuff. but you have no idea what that means. And some days you do really, really, really well. And some days you can't get off the couch and turn off Netflix, even though you know you need to. Like, you know exactly what you need to do to build your business, but you can't get yourself to do it. Like, your laptop's literally staring at you, begging you to change your life. But for some reason, you don't act, right? And you're down on yourself about it. And even worse, you're pissed off at yourself for being down about it. Am I talking crazy, or do you guys know what this is like, right? This is something that I went through for a very long time, because deep down you know you're meant for more. And even on the days where you do complete that to-do list, perfection creeps in, doesn't it? And you still feel empty inside. Like, you feel hollow because you're tied to that perfection. And you see someone else you know hitting this big goal, and it sends you into a tailspin of mediocrity, saying you could never do that. But even though we want it so bad, we don't know why we're stuck, right? We don't know what's stopping us from achieving that success, and more importantly, happiness. And you just wish you'd be more fulfilled, but no matter what we try, we don't see progress. And so what happens then is you start to not believe in yourself as much. You don't know if you'll be enough to achieve these things, and you get sick of it, don't you? Sick and tired of being your own worst enemy, desperately wanting that confidence to succeed, and you know you're meant for more. You know it, but we're stuck and we're sick of it, and that's what we're going to break through, because I lived that way for years, and it was hard. I feel you. You're talking to someone that grew up never feeling worthy. I started out on my success journey very, very, very angry and very sad, because I didn't think it was fair that I was where I was. I didn't think that the cards that I was dealt was fair. I had a lot of blame going on. And so, like, just to summarize what I went through to create that, when I was a kid, my childhood wasn't very fun at home. When I was growing up, I never knew who I had to be to feel worthy of my mom's love. How many of you guys, type yes if you have a turbulent relationship with a family member in some way, shape, or form? Like, I never knew, and that could be past or present, I never knew what version of mom I was going to get. I didn't know if I was going to get the controlling version, the narcissistic version, the embarrassing version, the controlling version, or even worse, the one where love was used as a weapon against me. And I didn't know what I had to do to feel worthy, and it changed minute to minute. It still does. It was like walking on eggshells. I would change my plans to appease someone else's pain. I was changing who I was just to feel loved, and I never knew who I had to be, right? That's what I felt, and it sucked. And I hated seeing my parents scream and fight about money all the time. I hated seeing them fight literally every day, no hyperbole for this call, every day about money. After I took out 40 grand in student loans, that 40,000, or my grandmother also saved $40,000 for me to go to college, and that was stolen from me when I went to school. It was taken, putting me almost 6 figures in debt. And so my point of this is, like, I had this limiting inheritance of negative beliefs about money, about myself, and I hated the pain. I was angry. I hated my past. And I started off with really limiting beliefs that I wasn't enough. And it led me to desperately craving validation and acceptance from other people, and never believing in myself, and thinking that if I happened to earn money, I'd be a bad person, or it would tear my relationship apart, or you had to work your butt off just to barely get by. So I felt unworthy. I felt less than. So you can imagine, when I started my Beachbody business 7 years ago, and I had all these big dreams, I was so held back by these limiting beliefs that I wasn't enough, and that money was bad, and all the other things, that everything I tried didn't work. And I failed at online business for years. I watched everyone else succeed besides me. That's what it felt like. I watched everyone else walk across that stage. And there were people that started at the same time as me that seemed to get it, and it was demoralizing. And I'd literally get into these perfection and guilt loops. And by the way, I have a reason for telling you guys all of this, by the way. I'd get into these perfection and guilt loops where I'd have to check my to-do list off perfectly. And I had to hit these monthly benchmarks like Success Club in my business. And if I didn't, I'd get down on myself and in these depressed states. And then I'd feel guilty for wallowing in my sorrow. So I try to do things perfectly again. And it ended up leading to like these perfection and guilt loops and into these bouts of depression where I couldn't get myself to act, sitting on the couch. And I knew what I needed to do to grow my business, but I just couldn't. And I cared so much, but in the moment I just didn't care. And I was so sick of everyone else having success besides me. I was so sick of my bank account always overdrafting, so sick of too much month at the end of the money, face to face with mediocrity. And one day, when I was having an upward trend in my mindset, my bank account overdrafted by 19 cents again. And something about that time when it overdrafted just clicked within me. I don't know what it was, but it just set me on this journey of changing my life. And I remember going in even more debt investing in my personal growth, spending thousands and thousands of dollars on seminars and books and coaches, learning from the best of the best, like reading hundreds of books, all these like things to teach me how to change my mindset, like spending hundreds of hours in courses and seminars and phone calls. And I finally realized what was going on. I saw what was missing. I saw my problem. And I tell you all this for a very specific reason. Because if you fast forward to now, I actually wake up this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. You can ask the people in Appreciation Academy. Guys, isn't that true? Like I wake up this annoyingly happy on a regular basis, right? And I'm not stressed. Instead of my mind always being focused on how behind I am, I'm focused on my dreams. Procrastination is a thing of the past. And my genuine, no bullshit default setting is happiness. And it used to be stress and endless frustration. I've created a multi-six-figure business and it impacted tens of thousands of people through my videos and podcasts. And my students in Appreciation Academy and my programs are noticing their businesses grow and their mindsets change faster than ever before. And beyond that, marriages are improving. They're understanding themselves for the first time in their lives. And most importantly, when they smile, when you guys smile, don't you feel it? You feel it. And it's freaking awesome. And I don't share this to impress you. I share this to impress upon you that if you have stuff you're going through, you can break through it. You can get unstuck. I am living proof. So my students and I, we probably used to make the same mistake, if you're challenged by those things we just talked about, that you might be making right now. And that's believing that business success and money will bring you happiness. After all the personal growth I have done in the years and years of studying, I am here to tell you firsthand that business, success, and money do not create happiness unless you are already happy. Happiness is what creates those things. I used to think that when I got to my goals, or if my family acted in a certain way, or if I hit elite in Beachbody, or if I had more money, I'd be happy. But the biggest myth you can ever believe is that those things will bring you happiness. It's so much simpler than that. Success is so simple. And I didn't realize how simple it was at the time. So I'd like to save you years of the pain I experienced, years of looking for why you're stuck. So stick with me on this because these steps changed my life and will change yours. So I had to master a few skills if this was ever going to happen. And I'll talk to you guys at the end about how you can work with me through my online course to break through everything holding you back. That course is how I changed my whole life. That course is how I got unstuck. There will be an offer for you guys to invest in at the end. But first, if that is ever going to matter, we need a paradigm shift if that's ever going to change. So I'd like to teach you 3 things tonight. One is how to reverse negative self-talk. If you guys were on my call before with Micah, this will be a review. Number 2 is brand new, how to understand your fear, how to use your fear, and all the different types of fear. And finally, the 5 master skills that you'll absolutely need if you want to win in your business and your life. Sound good? So let's dive in to number 1. Write this down. Your thoughts are always the reason. Your thoughts are always the reason. You guys are nodding if you have been through this type of training before. But the first thing you can do is rewire the way you think. Change the way you naturally think. How many of you guys have told your, or have heard the cliche, change your thinking, change your life? How do we do that? How do we actually change our thinking? Well, the first thing we need to understand is that we tell ourselves these stories, right? Money is bad. Building a team is hard. It's so much easier for my upline. I'm not enough. And if you say that crap enough times, what happens? You believe it. Write this in your notes. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's BS or not. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's BS or not. How many of you guys have ever been with your friends over the years and you've exaggerated the story to sound cooler than you really are? You know what I'm talking about, right? So you get more laughs, more attention. So the next time you get back together, they ask you to share that story again. You do it again, only with more conviction, more intensity, more conviction. And so you share it, you get more laughs. So then you find yourself 5 years into the future sharing this story with your friends, and you don't even know what part of that story is BS or not. You know what I'm talking about? Where you go, is that actually true? Do you know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy, right? The same thing happens with negative self-talk. Only instead of it being a fun party topic, it will sabotage your whole life, and you'll go through life believing this. That's our default software, and it creates inner conflict. It changes the way we lead our life and our business. So how do we change this? Well, obviously, you have to believe you're enough before the evidence of your business is ever going to say that you're enough. You have to believe that you are a great leader before teammates are ever going to come onto your team. You have to believe that you are worthy of financial abundance before money is ever going to find its way into your bank account. So how do you do that when the evidence of your life is not saying that at the present moment? You can start the process, and so I say start the process because I teach you the full process in my program, but you can start the process of this by changing your questions. Put this in your notes. Better questions will change your entire life. Better questions will change your entire life. How many of you have ever done a vision board or a goal setting exercise? And you know that these things would change your whole life. You got the mansion, the debt-free sign, 5-star, 10-star, million club, whatever it is. And you look at those goals and you know they would change your whole world. Everything would be different if you achieve those goals, whatever those goals are. But there's that little voice back here, that little voice that goes, you're never gonna do that. You know what I'm talking about? That little devil on your shoulder just whispering doubt and insignificance into your subconscious mind. We have to change that, and we can't do it all in an hour, but here is a start. So what is thinking? Thinking is nothing more than the process of asking yourself a question. That's all thinking is. So if you ask yourself bad questions, you get really bad answers. If you ask yourself great questions, you get great answers. What would be a bad question? A bad question would be, why am I stuck? A bad question would be, why am I so fat? A bad question would be, why am I so depressed? A bad question would be, why am I not enough? Those would be bad questions. Why am I so broke? A great question would be, why am I worthy? What do I have to be grateful for today? Why am I caring? Why am I kind? Why am I beautiful? Why am I great? Why am I more than enough? Those would be great questions. So how does this relate to your life? And if you've done this exercise with me before, and I know we got some new people hopping on, this first section might be a review for you, but the second and third, I promise, will be brand new spanking information. So if you've done this exercise with me before, do not cheat. So look around the room you're in right now, and I want you to count all the things you can find that are red. Ready, go. Count the things that are red. Look for red, 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 keep looking for red, look 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 for red, keep looking for red, count the things that are red, look for red, look for red. Why are you looking at me? Look for red, 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 look for red. Cool. Type in the chat box or hold up your hands. How many things do you find that were red? What do we got? How many? 8, 11, 8? Fantastic. That's great, guys. Either way, you won, but question, how many things do you find that were blue? How many things do you find that were blue? You have no idea. No idea. Why? Because you weren't looking for it. But check this out. Look around the room you're in right now and count all the stuff you can find that's blue. All that beach body blue. Ready, go. Look for blue. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue everywhere. Look for blue. Some of you are still looking at me. Look for blue, 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 look for blue. Type in the chat box. How many more things do you find that were blue? What do we got? We got 13, a ton, 19, 16, 12. Fantastic. How many of you guys even saw teal or green and pretended it was blue so you would feel successful at this exercise? You know who you are. But what does this prove, guys? This proves that when you focus on what you don't want, red, right? What you don't want, you don't see blue, do you? You don't see it anywhere. And when you focus on your dreams, what you do want, you don't see red, right? You can't see both at the same time. Because when you look for one, you don't find the other. So many people make the mistake in business and life and focusing on why they are stuck instead of focusing on their dreams. How many of you do that? Why am I stuck? Why isn't this working? What's going wrong? Why won't people say yes to me? You're looking for literally what you don't want, so that's what you find. No wonder your business isn't growing the way you want it to. If you say, why am I so fat? No wonder you're not losing weight. You are literally asking yourself to stay in the same spot. So this is why Jim Rohn has a quote that says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds grow automatically. What does that mean? That means unless you condition your mind to focus on blue, your dreams, what you want, you will automatically find yourself stuck, focusing on the negative. And the reason is because your brain doesn't give a crap if you hit your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you hit your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you hit elite or 5-star or whatever it is. Your brain's job is to protect you from pain, to keep you alive. So at any moment in time, it's looking for what could go wrong. So you don't go in your first year, I want to be an elite coach. You go, no, let's play it safe. Let's go for emerald or diamond instead, right? So that's what we do. We play it safe. We need to rewire our mind to focus on our dreams or we'll always be stuck. And our brain will try to keep us realistic. Well, guys, if you're trying to be realistic, welcome to mediocrity. If you're trying to be realistic and play it safe, that is the fastest traveled road to lead a boring life. That's how you end up in mediocrity. Put this in your notes. It's a Will Smith quote. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. It's the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. Why is that? Well, if you pair up a realist and an optimist, let's forget the pessimist because the pessimist won't do anything, right? But the realist and the optimist. By the way, what is pessimism? Pessimism is not that the person's bad. Pessimism means I'm too afraid to try again. That's what pessimism means. It's a type of fear. That's what it is. So have some empathy for those people in your life that are kind of pessimistic. They're just hurting and don't believe in themselves. That's it. But let's pair the realist and the optimist next to each other. And realist, optimist, right? The optimist goes, you know what? I'm going to go for elite in my first year. And the realist goes, no. You can't do that. Like, play it safe. Go for diamond, right? Go for emerald, something like that you know you can hit. Be safe with these goals. And the realist goes, or the optimist goes, you know what? I'm going to go after it. And the realist goes, I don't think you're going to get there right away. I don't think it's going to happen. And so the optimist goes for it. And they work their butt off and they fall on their ass and fail. And the realist was right. The optimist is going to fail. And so the realist goes and hits their mediocre goals. They hit emerald, they hit diamond, whatever it is. Those safe goals that are easy to play ball with, right? They hit those goals. So the realist always wins right away. But here's the thing about optimism. What does that optimist do when they fail? They try again. And they learn something. And they try again. And they try again. And they try again. And they find a freaking way, don't they? They find a way. And even if they end up like not near their goals, aren't they so much further along than the realist ever was? So much further along because they had the courage to put themselves out there. Write this in your notes. Being risk averse is the most risky thing you can do in life. It sounds kind of like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Being risk averse is the most risky thing you can do in life. And I'm not saying risk averse in the sense of like be super risky with your investments. I'm not saying risk averse in the sense where you want to go skydiving. That's not what I mean. What I mean is risk averse meaning if you want big things in your life, you got to take risks. And if you don't take risks, you're never going to have big things. You won't fail. You're not going to like live a horrible life. You'll just live an average life. And if you are on this call trying to build a business of your dreams, you don't want average, do you? You want more than average. You want an amazing quality of life. So back to red versus blue. By the way, was that helpful, the realist optimist thing? Think you can use that in your life? Focus on dreaming bigger, a little bit bigger? Awesome. So back to red and blue. Ask yourself this right now. Why am I not enough to build my business? Just try that. Why am I not enough to build my business? Ugh. How does that feel? How does that taste? Not very good, right? It doesn't taste very good. How motivated do you feel when you ask that question? You don't feel motivated at all. And even when you read positive thinking, self-help books, it doesn't change the fact that you have that little devil on your shoulder saying you're never going to do this. So what are those limiting things you ask yourself? Mine are, why am I not enough? Why is money so bad? Those were the things that I really struggled with. What are yours? Jot them down in a notebook when you start to think about them. And I'm going to give you guys a homework for tonight in just a minute, but I want you to write down all the negative questions you ask yourself about your life on a regular basis. We're going to go through an exercise with those in a couple minutes, but those things are our limiting beliefs, our limiting questions, and it doesn't feel very good to ask those. I bet it leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination. And there we are looking at our life so frustrated with the results you're getting, but no matter how much someone tells you they believe in you, it doesn't change the fact that you have that voice in your head. So how do we change this? Well, when you set a goal, what you're really doing is you're trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. That's all goal setting is. That's all it is. Your dominant beliefs determine if that goal comes true. So the gap between where you are and where you want to be is what you're looking for, red or blue. And until that language is consistently blue, you will find it very, very, very hard to get to your dreams. We need to program this into our mind because if we don't, what do we automatically find? Red, because that's how our brain is naturally biologically wired. And if we look for red, what do we never see? You don't see blue. You don't find your dreams. So if you use the example of why isn't my team growing, try that. Notice that your brain actually looks for an answer. Even if you're successful, you look, don't you? That's how insidious negative self-talk is. Your entire life will change by consistently asking yourself more empowering questions. Your brain is a Google search engine. It will answer whatever you type into that search bar. So what if you intentionally reverse it? Because if you don't intentionally type in something blue, automatically types in red, right? So you're going to get an answer anyway. So what if we intentionally type in something that leads us to a better life? Something that focuses on our dreams. When you say, why is it so hard to build my business? What does your brain do? Finds all the reasons why it's so freaking hard. So that's what you focus on. So you never find your answers. When you sit down to work, you're literally looking for why you're stuck. So you don't find the solutions to your biggest challenges. You don't send invites. You click refresh in your coach online office, wishing more customer leads came in and hoping your volume grows and wishing you got a Facebook message about that next challenge group. In reality, you got to do the work, but you're not looking for what you want. You're looking for why you're stuck. So what's crazy about this is that there's amazing people and opportunities and blue around you every second of every day. But if you're focused on red, do you ever see them? No, you don't see them. You won't notice that mom standing behind you in the grocery store checkout line that has high cholesterol and you could save her life with Shakeology. You won't even notice her. You won't even notice that group of people that live close by or your close friends that live nearby that have no idea how they're going to pay their mortgage. And you have their freedom trapped in your mouth right now. You won't even notice them because you're looking for what you don't want. But try this. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club in the next 5 days? Try it. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club in the next 5 days? What happens? Don't you look for the answer? You look, don't you? And you start to focus on the people you could reach out to, the sacrifices you could make to build your business. Can you imagine if you flood your mind with what you want on a regular basis? Everything will change. Everything will change. Every problem you face is just an empowering question you got to ask yourself. That's it. And sure, you might ask these questions and there might be inner conflict that comes up, right? If we ask ourselves an empowering question, but we value different things, we might have those things in conflict, right? Where I wanted to create mass impact, but money is bad. That would be an example, right? So how do we break through that? I'll teach you how to do that in my program. But for now, just understand that questions change your whole life. So your homework coming out of here in 30 minutes, your homework is, like I said, to write down all those negative questions. You're going to flip them to their empowering alternative. You're going to turn why am I so broke into why am I so wealthy? You're going to turn why am I stuck into what are my dreams? You're going to turn why am I so fat into why is it so easy to live a healthy lifestyle? Those are just some examples. But you're going to flood your mind with what you want. 2 questions that changed my entire life. Number 1, why am I so kind to myself today? And I still ask myself that question every day. And number 2, why am I worthy of living an amazing life? Why am I worthy of living an amazing life? Because life gets 100% easier if you're 1% nicer to yourself. 1%. Everything gets easier. And you're going to flood your mind with this, guys. You're going to flood your mind with this. My wife probably thought I was crazy because I literally recorded these empowering questions on my phone and I listened to them while I slept at night. Disclaimer, don't choke yourself with a headphone cord. Invest in some AirPods, right? But I'm just saying, like, you don't have to flood your mind with it overnight, but try your best to get those blue questions in your mind as often as you can, because if you don't look for them, you will automatically find red, automatically. So how many of you guys are in a relationship or married? Raise your hand if you're in a relationship or married. Awesome. What would happen if you reminded yourself through a question, whether it's a reminder on your phone or a Post-it note or whatever it is, like 5 minutes before your spouse got home from work, and that reminder said, why is it so easy to fall in love with my spouse again today? Can you imagine how your relationship would change forever? By the way, I ask myself that question every day, and we have an amazing relationship. How many of you guys have kids? How many of you guys have kids? I know Mardia's kids. There's one, right? But how many of you guys have kids? Awesome. What would happen if you had an alarm that went off 5 minutes before they got up from a nap or got home from their friend's house or whatever it was that said, why is it so easy to be a patient and loving mother today? Can you imagine? Would you let the stress of the day affect how you parent those kids? No. You'd be proactive, right? You're rewiring your mind with blue, what you want. And I know that this is a review for some of you guys who were on the call before, But how many of you guys got a new distinction this time around or learned something from that lesson on empowering questions? How many of you guys feel like you can use this in your life and in your business? Awesome. So let's move on to some new content all about fear, because what we just talked about, your life will change if you do it, guaranteed. No matter what, it will happen. You'll be more positive. You'll start to inch your way towards that life of your dreams. But I get that you feel dominated by fear sometimes, right? Like we just get crushed by fear. We know what to do, but we can't get ourselves to take action. But so how do we break through this fear? Well, first, it's understanding there's a couple really big myths about fear that people face on a regular basis. The first myth about fear is probably the most important, and that's thinking that you shouldn't be afraid. If you are not afraid, you're not playing big enough. If you're not afraid, you're not playing big enough. It's not true that you shouldn't feel fear. You should feel fear. It is never going to go away. So if you fight it or resist feeling it, doesn't it make it worse? Like whatever you resist, what? Persists, right? There's a reason that's a cliche. So if you fight fear or resist fear, it makes it worse. If you pretend fear isn't there, and it consumes your life and you go nowhere, right? That's what happens. So just understand that fear is literally just your brain doing its job. That's it. Just like we talked about a minute ago, your survival-based brain. So being fearless isn't a thing. You feel fear and you do it anyways. That's what courage is. The antidote to, or how you break through fear, is the habit of courage. Taking that leap of faith even when you're afraid. And I say habit because it's something you practice. It's something you build into your routine. You got to do scary stuff or else you're never going to live the life that you actually want. If you are playing it safe, you're going to live in mediocrity. So that's the first big myth about fear, is that you shouldn't feel it. The second big myth when it comes to fear is that fear goes away when you're successful. Nope. Nope, that's simply not true, because you're always trying to grow. You're always pushing for that next level. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is getting down on themselves for not being successful yet, right? Saying, I should be more successful, or I'll be able to go after something like that when I'm more successful. Because we think that things would be easier if we were already successful, but that's not true. The more successful you get, the bigger your challenges get, because you've grown more so you can handle more. And so a lot of people hold back because they think that being successful is a prerequisite to being successful. And it's not. Success is not a prerequisite to success. Fear is not going to disappear when you're successful. You're just going to do scarier stuff. How many of you guys have ever said that, if I had a business like hers, it'd be so much easier for me? Or if I had that type of following, it'd be so much easier for me? No. Those people that you see that are doing it and playing all out in that way, they are doing terrifying things on a regular basis. Terrifying. And I know this because I lived it. I used to play it safe, and then I would practice courage, and I would try to do more scary things. And then I would practice courage with those increasingly scary things, and then I would do more scary things. Now, I am actually scared on a regular basis, but I know how to handle it because, like I teach you guys in my program, I know how to master my state. I know how to bounce back from that fear and turn it into courage. So fear never goes away. You just do scarier stuff the more successful you get. And so this isn't about silencing fear, guys. It's about using fear, because you might be suffering from the third myth about fear and thinking that fear is fake. Like, what is that? What do they say? False evidence appearing real. Don't you feel it? It's got to be real if you feel it. It's just misplaced. So how do we use fear? How do we use fear? Well, we can be conscious of the consequences of our actions. We can use fear by saying, what happens if I don't take action? What does my life look like in 2 years from now if I keep doing the same thing? What's actually more scary? Taking massive action or living another day exactly as you are right now, right? So what's actually scary? Sending an invite on social media to that top prospect of yours, or waking up having another bad day? It's just perspective, guys. That's all it is, because focus equals reality. So whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, even if it's real or not. For example, how many of you guys, by the show of hands, are in a relationship or married again? Just so I know. Okay, cool. When your spouse gets home late, what goes on in that crazy brain of yours? What happens when your spouse is an hour late getting home from work? If your mind goes to, oh, they're cheating on me with their boss, what do you feel? Very, very angry, don't you? And it feels very real, doesn't it? It feels real. You'll play out a ditch somewhere or they died, right? How they got in a horrible car accident. And if you focus on that, don't you feel it? If you focus on how your spouse is getting home late and they're in a ditch somewhere, don't you feel that, whether it is true or not? The worry picks up and you feel it. You feel lost, you feel worried, you feel panic, and it feels real even if you have no idea about the truth. And so but if you focus on how maybe they got caught up in the office and they're working so hard to provide for the family, or maybe they're getting groceries or picking you up flowers, you feel that too, don't you? So my point in this, 3 different distinctions, right? Cheating on you, dead in a ditch, getting you flowers. Wherever the focus goes, you feel it, don't you? Wherever focus goes, energy flows. And you will feel whatever you focus on, even if it's true or not. Put this in your notes. Focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. Focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. So think about back to red versus blue. If your focus goes to your dreams, you feel your dreams. That's what you focus on. That's what you create. How many of you guys have ever bought a car, by the way? You've bought a car, and the minute you decide what type of car you want to buy, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Why? Because that's where focus went. That's what you felt. That's what you created. You use this noggin of yours instead of this noggin using you. So let's apply this to our business. What's a really big goal you have that you're blowing up in your mind and making it harder than it really is? What's a really big goal in your mind? Type in the chat box that you're blowing up in your head. That's a crazy goal. And when you think about that goal, you might think that it could mean rejection, or that they'll judge you, or that you're not capable. And when you focus on that, great goals, guys, when you focus on that, what do you feel? If you focus on how going after that might mean judgment, or going after that big goal might mean you're going to be rejected, don't you feel rejected already? Don't you feel rejected before the thing ever happened? Don't you feel judged before it ever happened? Yes. So that's what you focus on. And just like you talked about, wherever focus goes, energy flows. So that's what you literally create. You create your life twice. Once in reality in your world, right? And first in here, because that's where focus goes. So if you create it in here, it happens out there. So if you focus on what you're afraid of, that rejection, all that stuff, that's literally the life you're going to create. So all of those things about building a business, they get extremely overwhelming and you start to panic. So you don't do anything out of fear. But what if you reverse it? What if you intentionally change your focus and you say, you know what? These people are going to be so happy that I invite them because I'm going to change their entire life. Where does your mind go? More motivation or less? More. More creativity or less? More. Less or more panic? Less panic. More or less stories about why you're not good enough? Less. More energy, less energy? More energy, right? Do you see how you literally control this now? You just have to tweak your focus, because whatever you focus on, you feel. And the number one challenge you're going to face in your business is fear. That's what it is. It's fear. We know that. Everyone knows the thing that stops us all is fear. That's the number one challenge we face. But I'm going to give you an amazing tool right now to break through that fear instantly, so you can instill courage into your life. It's a tool that I created called meaning manipulation. Meaning manipulation. Basically, you are going to choose what these fears mean to you instead of being dominated by your fears, because life is made up of events and the meaning you give to each event. So we're going to choose a different meaning for fears. And is it cool if I go like 5 over the hour, by the way? I have some really good stuff for you guys. I want to make sure and really nail it. Okay, cool. So meaning manipulation. And we're going to choose a more empowering meaning to these fears. So first, before we go into that, what are the main types of fears that you feel as a business owner? There's 5 that you probably feel most often? Stress, not if you feel stress. Overwhelm, not if you feel overwhelmed. Procrastination, how many of you feel that? Perfection, how many of you feel that? That's fear, by the way. Perfection and rejection. Those, would you agree, are the main fears you face as a business owner? What do you say we break through those right now? Would that be cool? Let's break through those fears right now. So those are the 5 fears that you're mainly going to face. So I'm going to explain what those fears mean and then show you how you can use meaning manipulation to overcome them really, really quickly. So stress. What is stress? Stress is a fancy way of saying you're scared. That's it. Stress is the achiever's word for fear. That's all stress is. If you think about when you're stressed out, you're afraid of what may or may not happen. You're afraid of what may or may not happen, right? It's the achiever's word for scared. That's all it is. In fact, if I follow your stress, it will take me to what you're actually deeply afraid of. You're stressing about not getting it all done. You're stressed about all the things you have to balance. But let's just be real about what you're actually facing. You're just scared of all your priorities and all the things going on in your life and the consequences of taking action versus not taking action. And that's what stress is. Wouldn't you agree that's what stress really is? Just fear? Not just so I know I'm not crazy, right? That's what you feel, right? And stress typically flows into overwhelm, doesn't it? When stress adds up, don't you get overwhelmed or overloaded? You feel that. What does overwhelm mean? Overwhelm literally just means that you don't believe that you're enough to handle it all, that you can't get it all done, possibly in your life, get all this done. But guess what? Hasn't it always been okay? Like, hasn't it literally since the beginning of time, hasn't it always been okay? It's always worked out, right? So you're afraid that you're not going to get it all done. But guess what, guys? When you die, you're still going to have a to-do list for the next day. There will still be something else to get done. So quit worrying about getting it all done because you're never going to get it all done in your entire life, ever, right? When you look at your to-do list and having that big list overwhelms you, it's a waste of your focus. We need to start prioritizing that more. That's a whole other topic about focusing on the outcome that I'll teach you in the program. But the point is, you have that to-do list and you're going, shit, how am I going to do all that? That's overwhelm. Want to know how to solve overwhelm in a single second? In a single second. Pick your top priority. And you might be saying, but everything's a priority, Brad. No, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Everything might be important, but priority means what deserves the most attention first. What will add the most value to my life by focusing on this first? Because if everything's a priority, guess what? Nothing is a priority. Nothing. You get nothing done, you get no results, and guess what? You feel more crappy about it. You feel more overwhelmed about it, don't you? That's not a good strategy for a great life, is it? When you pick your top priority, you laser focus all of your attention on one thing instead of 50. And how much faster do you get it done? So fast. And does that increase your energy or decrease your energy? Increase. So do you get more done than the rest of the day? You bet. And overwhelm goes away because you pick the top priority. Write this down. Multitasking is a myth. Multitasking is a myth. It is literally impossible. My mom used to joke that she could smoke a cigarette, eat food, discipline us kids, drive a car, and sing on the radio all at the same time. Obviously, she was joking, but the idea of her being able to multitask is literally impossible. You cannot do both. You literally switch tasks. That's what your brain does. So, for example, I want you to draw 4 lines on a sheet of paper. 4 lines horizontal on your sheet of paper, okay? And we're gonna do a little exercise right now. I'm gonna pull up a stopwatch on Google here, and I'm gonna show you something, okay? So across that first line, both when I say go, you're gonna write the numbers 1 through 19. 1 through 19, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 19, okay? Just when I say go, get ready to do it. When I see most faces look up, that's when I'll stop the clock. Stop the clock, ready? And go. Count 1 through 19, write them horizontal across that sheet of paper. Okay, cool, right about now. Okay, cool, awesome. So, got 13 seconds, fantastic. Now, on that second line, you're gonna write the words, multitasking is a myth. And I'm gonna time you again, same thing, ready, and go. Multitasking is a myth. Okay, cool. 9 seconds, 10 seconds, cool. Now on the third and fourth line, what you're going to do is you're going to alternate between the two. You're going to go 1M, 2U, all the way through. Okay, so you're going to switch back and forth between tasks all the way through until you finish 1 through 19, and multitasking is a myth. Ready? And go. Do an insanity workout right now. I know you're hustling. Keep going. You got one face looking up. 2, 3. All right, cool. 42 seconds. 42 seconds. 13 plus 10, 23, 42. Double the amount of time from trying to multitask. Double the amount of time. Does that make sense? Multitasking is a myth, and it leads to overwhelm. Overwhelm vanishes in a single second if you focus on the top priority. Make sense? Pick one thing and do the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. And overwhelm is closely related to its dear friend, perfection. Recovered perfectionist over here, still sometimes challenged by it. How many of you guys struggle with perfection? Are you a self-labeled perfectionist? And here's the thing. Perfection is literally, it just means that you're afraid of what happens if you don't do it right. It's just fear. That's perfection. And it typically leads you in two directions, right? You're a master of achievements, but you're miserable along the way. And even if you do achieve a goal, you feel hollow and empty inside. Or two, you never start because you're too afraid of what happens if you don't do it. And you're miserable then too. Perfection is the lowest standard we can have for ourselves as human beings. Perfection is the lowest standard we can have for ourselves as human beings because it's literally impossible. Raise your standards, guys. Choose excellence instead of perfection because you can't be perfect. It's a horrible goal because you're setting yourself up for a life of misery. You want a better goal? A better goal is excellence, because if you go for perfection, can you fail? No, absolutely not. But if you go for excellence, don't you have to fail in order to be excellent? You have to, because you can't be great unless you learn from your mistakes. Great results are a result of good judgment. Good judgment is typically a result of experience, and experience is a result of bad judgment. Right? So we go through and we fail, and that's how we become excellent. So perfection is trying to push away any sort of failure. We can't do that because we'll never feel happy and we're not going to achieve much. So when you combine the two, perfection and overwhelm, also known as massive stress, what do? Procrastinate. We procrastinate. That's what it is, right? Well, remember that fear is nothing more than the anticipation of pain. That's it. So procrastination just means that you perceive taking action would be more painful than doing nothing. That's it. And you experience less pain by doing nothing. That's procrastination. So how do you overcome this? You use pain instead of letting the anticipation of pain dominate you. So think about it. If you ask yourself, is it more painful to take action, or is it more painful to keep waking up having the same bad day? Obviously the latter, right? And I'll teach you how to do that in detail, but you can use pain instead of having pain dominate you. Think about the consequences of lack of action, and you will be pulled toward your dreams. So let's talk about this as a next level as it applies to your business. If you face all these things, and you're probably terrified of rejection too, right? Well, it plays into our deepest fear, our scariest fear that we could ever imagine, and that's that we won't be loved. Everyone's deepest fear is that we won't be loved. That's what it all comes down to. That we're not enough, and if we're not enough, we won't be loved. When you're focused on being rejected, what happens? You don't take action. So you reject yourself before anyone has the ability to reject you. And living in that fear means that you're taking the focus, like if you focus on how you're going to be rejected, you're taking the focus completely off of serving others and you're putting it back onto yourself. That's it. So think about it. If you're worried about what they think of you, you're focused on yourself. You're focused on not serving them, but what you are going to get or not get out of the situation. Fear of rejection will dwindle when you focus on service to others first. When you put someone else's needs ahead of your own, you stop focusing on rejection and you start focusing on service first, which is the opposite. And that's where results come from. So all of these, what do they have in common? They all have something to do with something so much deeper than stress, overwhelm, perfection, procrastination, and rejection. They all have to do with not feeling like enough. They all play into your deepest fears. One, that you're not enough to achieve what you want in life, or you're not enough for other people. And if you're not enough, two, you won't be loved. Those are your deepest fears. That's everyone's deepest fear. Most of all of our fears, except for some primal survival-based fear, stem from those things, don't they? So how do we break through this? Well, remember, focus equals reality. So when you focus on these fears, they feel real, right? So let's use meaning manipulation to change this. It's a 5-step process to break through fear. So watch these questions as they gradually change throughout this, okay? So step 1, write down what is the worst case scenario playing in your mind. What is the worst case scenario playing in your mind? So when you think about that thing you're really scared of, your mind is a pinball machine, right? It goes in all these different directions, focusing on what could go wrong. So write down the worst case scenario playing in your mind, right? In this situation, it might be that people are going to judge you, or that you don't know if you'll succeed, or you don't have the support you need for your spouse, or you're not enough, or you don't have enough knowledge, or time is tight, or money's tight, or people don't care, or you don't know enough people. You're just going to write down that crazy story in your mind. That's number 1. Write down the worst case scenarios playing in your head. And you write this down, otherwise the next step won't be nearly as impactful. Number 2, what is the actual truth about the situation, and will I die? What's the actual truth about the situation, and will I die? Well, the truth is, I'm just a little scared that I won't be successful. Isn't that so much simpler? I'm just a little scared that I won't be successful. So much simpler, right? Before it was all these stories playing in your mind going a million miles an hour. But if you just ask yourself, what's the actual truth in one sentence about this? It's not nearly as intense. I'm just a little scared that I won't be successful. And it's true, right? That's it. That's what's going on. And will you die? No, you'll be just fine, right? Nothing bad can happen from you trying to build your business. So you've told yourself the truth, and you've calmed down that survival mechanism going up here, realizing the world won't end if you take action. So you've dwindled the fear. Now let's get to some motivation. Step number 3, what are the consequences if I don't take action? What are the long-term consequences if I don't take action? Will you wake up 2 years from now having the same bad day? Who will you hurt in your family by never going for it? What example will you set for your kids? What disappointments or regret will you have because you feel stuck in life? Write out all of it and feel that pain inside of you of the consequences of what happens if you don't take action. Is it really more scary to go after it? Or is it more scary to sit there and wallow in your sorrows? It's more scary to sit there, isn't it? Because you live in mediocrity. You live less than you can be, when every single person on this call knows they are meant for so much more. And that leads to number 4. What is the best case scenario if I take action every day starting right now? So you build more positive leverage on yourself. What's the best case scenario for this whole thing? I build my dreams. I retire my spouse. I hit 15-star, whatever it is. I'm so proud of myself. I prove that I'm worthy. I build complete, total financial and emotional freedom. The list goes on and on, but the point is simple. Write it out or write all the best case scenarios. So not only will you use pain, but now you're also adding the benefit of the pleasure you're going to gain, which step 5 is, what action am I going to take right now? What action am I going to take right now? You can analyze things all day long, but if you don't take action, you're screwed, right? So you're going to invite 10 people to the business opportunity. You're going to go and do it. That's it. That's step 5. That's meaning manipulation. It's that simple. Fear is the biggest challenge that you'll face on your journey to greatness, hands down. But if you use meaning manipulation, you can feel a difference in your focus as you go through those questions, can't you? Because focus equals reality to the individual, whether it's real or not. So if you do this, you'll feel different emotions. You'll feel more positive intent. You'll play up a story in your mind about why you can instead of why you can't. And you're going to feel so much better. And when you do that, game over. You'll take massive action and you'll crush your goals. So you've learned a ton from me about fear and reversing negative self-talk. But now I want to teach you how to win. If you want to explode your business, explode your bank account, explode your life to level 100, how the heck do you do it? How do you master this? How do you completely change your mindset? There's a few things you absolutely must do If you want to see this through and create an amazing life where you're the one walking across that stage, where you're paying off that debt, where you're living that life of freedom that you really, really want. If you want to escape that feeling of going through the motions and feeling fully alive every day, there are 5 things you have to master. Number 1, and by the way, I will teach you in detail how to master all of these. Number 1, you must master your emotional responses. Your emotional responses. You need to handle how you respond to challenges. What does that mean? It means that you need to literally learn how to control your emotions instead of your emotions controlling you. And you can ask these guys, I will teach you how to do it. You need to learn how to control your emotions to the events in your life, especially the ones that you weren't expecting, especially when things don't go the way you want them to. If you can learn how to stop the negative thoughts before they enter your head, game over. Can you imagine what it will be like when you learn how to love your setbacks and challenges? Can you imagine what that would be like to love the stressors in your life? What would happen? Everything would be different. And you're going to crush life so fast it's not even funny. The bank account, the business, all of it exploding. That's number 1. Number two skill you need to master. You must reframe fear. You absolutely must learn how to reframe fear and use it. We barely touched the surface of that tonight. That's what stops you. Fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being loved, fear of not being enough. And it leads to toxic behaviors like procrastination, perfection, rejection, overwhelm, stress, laziness, anger, blame, all of it. Right? If you learn how to master fear instead of being dominated by it, you'll take more action in a week than you normally would in months, and your life will explode. That's the second master skill. Number 3, you must change your limiting beliefs. You must learn how to change your limiting beliefs. You have to learn how to take a limiting belief, silence it, and replace it with an empowering one that moves your life forward. You can have the biggest dream in the world, but if you don't believe you can get there, it's not going to matter. The gap between where you are and where you want to be are the feelings of conviction you have about who you are. And until that language is consistently empowering and you truly believe in yourself and there's no inner conflict, you'll be stuck. I lived it. That's number 3. Number 4, you must let go of resentment. You must let go of resentment. Resentment is one of the most toxic things in your life, holding you back from greatness. And what I really mean is forgiveness. Letting go of blame, letting go of anger, jealousy, baggage. And right now it feels good to have someone to blame, right? It feels good to have a way out. It feels nice to not have to take responsibility yet, but it feels really heavy, doesn't it? It feels like you're climbing a mountain with a piano on your back, and it's awkward and it's heavy and you just keep stumbling, but you can set that down. And I know you're saying, but how do I do that? Just for now, know that you can. You can let go even when you don't want to. You can change what the past means to you. It is never too late to have an amazing childhood. I am living proof of that. It is never too late to have an amazing past. And until you learn how to have an amazing past, even after you went through it, you'll be fighting a ghost, not able to move forward, because no matter how much you desperately want to, you're going to feel stuck. You absolutely must learn how to let go and mean it if you want those dreams to come true. And those are the first 4. And what do all of these have in common? None of them are business how-tos. None of them show you Instagram stories or LinkedIn or Facebook. None of them show you inviting scripts. None of them show you how to maximize your comp plan, because that crap doesn't matter yet. In fact, one of the reasons you've probably been frustrated is because you're doing the inviting scripts and all the things right, and mastering the comp plan, the social media techniques, and it's not working the way that you want it to. And there's a reason. It's because there's inner conflict in here that needs to be resolved. So please understand something. Your business is a direct reflection of how you feel in here. That's your business. It is a direct reflection of how you feel on the inside, which leads me to number 5, the biggest skill you can master in all of business and all of life. If you master this skill, not only will you have a thriving business, but you'll actually be happy, genuinely happy on a regular basis. And really all this skill is all the 4 bundled together. And that is skill number 5, genuine appreciation. Appreciation is the master skill to business. What does that mean? It means you learn how to love everything. including the challenges. If you can learn how to appreciate your challenges and love your challenges, all of a sudden you beat the challenges because you stop pushing away the lesson that's the key to your freedom. Because you stop pushing away the whole point of life, and that's genuine happiness. And happiness isn't at a destination. It's where you are right now. Achievement without appreciation is total failure. You could hit 5-star all day long, but if you don't love your life, you failed. Isn't that true? You could have all the money in the world, but if you don't love and appreciate your life, you have nothing. I made the mistake of believing that business success and money would bring me happiness. And please hear me loud and clear when I say that's not true. Business success and money do not cause happiness. Happiness causes success. Happiness and appreciation for every challenge and every win is how you overcome the challenge. That's abundance 101. Happiness causes success. You will not be successful until you learn how to be happy. And happiness, my friends, is trainable. Appreciation is trainable. You have to get into the study of this. That's the way to win at those skills. Continuing education with discipline and hard work, but ultimately the way to win with those 5 skills: emotional mastery, reframing fear, changing limiting beliefs, letting go of resentment, and genuine appreciation. Ultimately, the way to win at those master skills to radically change your life and your business is for someone to teach you step by step how to do that. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd love to share just for 3 minutes about a program that I have for you guys that we've prepared for you so you can learn how to do that, the step-by-step strategy to master those skills. And if it's not for you, that's totally okay. And if you guys are in the program, I'd love for you guys to share just how it's benefited your life in the chat box real quick, just so these guys can see that it's for real. So this is my invitation for you to join me and let me mentor you to make these things part of your life. And it's so much beyond this. Can you imagine how your business would change if you mastered this? Not just your business, but your marriage, your bank account, all parts of life, how they'd explode and leave a lasting impact on the world. You'd be living a life that proves that you're enough, right? That's what's going to happen. You're going to prove to yourself that you're enough. The reason your goals evade you is because of inner conflict. There's a reason trainings don't seem to work for you the same way they do for everyone else. There's a reason that even if you do achieve success and you're not genuinely happy the way you should be, there's a reason for that. It's inner conflict. It's lack of worth. It's limiting beliefs. You can win at this. Someone just needs to teach you how. You and I both know that sometimes you just need a mentor that's been through it. So I'd love to be that for you. I'd love to invite you to join me in Appreciation Academy. We barely scratched the surface tonight. And this program is a deep dive online mindset course that you will have lifetime access to with a 90-day guarantee on the program. It's a 3 back from success and give you the confidence you need to accomplish your biggest dreams and teach you how to finally get unstuck. In phase 1, you basically go through a life cleanse. That's really what it is, a life cleanse, right? You'll master how to let go of blame, the most painful parts of your life. You'll learn how to master your energy, instantly have more of it when you want to. You'll learn what's holding you back. You'll get rid of horrible habits. You'll be able to instill great routines, and you'll learn how to no longer be affected by negative people, even if they're part of your family, and so much more than that. Phase 1 reclaims your life. Phase 2, you're gonna learn how to create your dreams faster than ever before. You'll gain clarity on what you actually want, what your true mission is, how to make everything in your business flow through that. You'll discover how to break through every bit of fear and doubt holding you back from the life you want. You'll master letting go of procrastination and overwhelm and fear of rejection and stress and perfectionism. In fact, I even give you a 5-step process to ending procrastination forever. And I'll show you how to increase your daily productivity by over 30% guaranteed. You'll figure out why your brain is an asshole sometimes, and you'll get it to actually be nice to you like training a dog. And finally, in phase 3, we close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You've heard the cliche abundance, right? You'll actually learn how to live that. You'll learn how to choose your emotions, literally choose them. It rips away limiting beliefs and it replaces them with empowering ones. You'll let go of other people's opinions and needing permission, and you'll let go of emotional pain and fear of judgment. You'll learn how to actually forgive when you don't want to. This is how the goals start coming to you instead of having to force the goals. You hear the phrase magnetic success, right? Like those people that have clients flock to them. That's how you do it, phase 3. And what this phase is really going to do, honestly, if you break it down, is it's going to show you how to be happy, because happiness causes success. And so you're going to believe that you're worthy of living an amazing life. It's powerful. It's going to include an insane amount of bonuses that are not available to the public because you're part of Beachbody. So not only that, but I'm going to give you guys a 50% off discount for this program. 50% off on that for the next couple of days, 50% off of what I charge to the public. And that's for a payment plan or full pay option. So even if things are tight, you can make it work. Like I said, there's a 90-day guarantee in this. You guys know Micah, obviously. She says, if you're doing all the things and you're not getting where you want to go, you absolutely must invest in Brad's Academy. It's the missing link to breaking down your walls and reaching your potential. I can go on and on. So many testimonials endorsed by hundreds and hundreds of students and clients, the top leaders in Beachbody. But the bottom line, it'll get you unstuck. And it won't just affect your business your whole life. It rips away the layers of pain, preventing you from being who you're meant to be. And just like they said in the chat box, I will not disappear on you. I will not betray your trust. I'm there for you every step of the way. So if you felt something real, guys, if you've been living in a memory that says you're not enough, it's time we break through that. And I will show you exactly how I personally did it. So if this is something you are interested in, guys, head to bradbizjack.com/team call. All this stuff is going to be posted in your team page with an image and all this stuff, bradbizjack.com/team call. You'll have a little opt-in page that'll help me keep track of which team you came from. And then the next page is the pricing, all the details and all that stuff. So again, bradbizjack.com/team call. And thank you guys so much for the privilege of serving you tonight. I know I went over my time, but I hope you got so much out of this and I hope you took a lot away. So I will see you guys in Appreciation Academy. My friend, I will turn it back to you.
Okay, seriously, you guys, thank you so much, Brad. I've done it. I know that I've seen a massive difference in both Diana and Marty that have done it, and it's huge. It's like Marty said earlier, it's what she needed in life, not just her business, and guess what? Her business has grown. So, you guys, I wouldn't lead you astray. I wouldn't tell you to do something and put money into something if I didn't 100% believe that it could change your business and your whole mindset with all of it. So, I love that you guys know what to do. You know the things you need to do in the business. You know the daily tasks. You know the vital behaviors. But a lot of you are not where you want to be. I mean, me too sometimes. And this is the missing link. So I promise it's 110% worth your money. But if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to me about it, or Diana or Marty, because both of them have been super active in the group and have gone through it. And you guys, the videos are like 15 minutes. It's not like you're sitting forever and ever. They're short and sweet, but super to the point. And all of them have like stuff you write down, trainings, stuff to go through it. So yeah, Maria's in it. And you guys, it's super, super good. Does this mean I sign up again? No, I don't think so. You're good. And once you're in it, as long as you're still paying, you're in the group. And the Facebook group is super, he goes live Monday, what is it? Coffee chats. And super interactive. He answers your questions. So it's not like Diana said, he doesn't just put you in there and expect you guys to get answers from other people. Like he's in there answering them. So hopefully it was super beneficial for you guys. Thank you so much. I know it's super late where you're at, Brad. So super, super grateful that you were able to do this call for us. So, and I know there's some people that couldn't get on, so I'll get the recording to them. I'll get everybody the link, and hopefully people will get signed up because it's really worth it. So if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, thanks guys. Thanks so much, Brad. Appreciate it so much. Okay, see you guys. Have a good night.